Hello, are you ready for some entitledness? Today I'm going to be reading r/entitled people, read by Red. Okay, ready? Here we go. Karen once followed me at an airport because I was a lost child. This probably needs context before I start. Both my parents are divorced and live in two separate states. I live with my mum and grandparents in Nashville, Tennessee, while over school breaks I visit my dad in Rochester, New York. I've flown alone since I was 5, and when I turned 13, my parents said it was okay to travel without an escort on my layovers, as long as I texted them when I'm boarding and when I land. Fair enough. This happened when I was 16. Now, I don't look my age, never have. There's a bad combination in my family, short jeans and a baby face. I was lucky enough to inherit both. To give you a rough image, I'm a 5-foot tall girl who weighs about 125 pounds with a baby face. Easy for people to mistake me as younger than I am. Well, flying was always the worst offense because I was alone. I also have bad anxiety and stutter a lot when I'm nervous, so it only adds to the age confusion more. I was coming back from New York and had a 2-hour layover in Baltimore. I decided to get some food at Chipotle. While I was eating at the food court, minding my own business and scrolling through my phone, this middle-aged, white, blonde woman with her 2 kids walks up to me. We'll just call her Karen.
Hi, honey. Are you okay?
Yes, why do you ask?
Well, you seem young and you're by yourself.
Oh, great. Here we go again. This wasn't the first time this happened, so I calmly told her that I was fine and thanks for the concern. Well, apparently Karen didn't like my answer. Her tone soon changed from a caring, concerned citizen to a demanding witch. She told me I wasn't fine because I was a minor by myself and needed adult supervision to fly. She was correct about the minor part, but the supervision part was BS. I was flying Southwest, who allows anyone 12 and older to travel by themselves, but someone is still supervising you on the flight until you're 15. I did not need adult supervision to be in the airport past security alone, and I told her this. I politely asked her to leave me alone, and I understand the confusion. Karen wasn't having it.
You're lying.
How?
I have kids. I know the airport policy about minors.
Clearly you don't. I've already said I'm fine. Can you please leave me alone?
No, where are your parents?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. I need to complain to them.
At this point, I was getting annoyed. I didn't want to tell her about the fact that my parents were divorced, but back then, I saw it as the only way for her to fully understand the situation and leave me alone. Ma'am, I'm 16 years old. My mum is in Nashville waiting for me and my dad is in New York. Neither of them are in this airport and they both know I'm by myself and are okay with it. I'm allowed to have a layover by myself and I'm not considered an unaccompanied minor when I'm 16 years old according to the airline. Now please leave me alone.
No, you're lying.
How am I lying?
I know you're lying because I have children. I know how rebellious they are. And you are definitely not 16 years old.
I was getting mad at this point. For one, what right do you have to tell me how old I am? And secondly, your children look 7 and 5 years old, a little too young to be going through a teenage rebellion. I stood up, put my food in my bag, and told her, I think I know how old I am.
Where's your proof?
I took out my driver's license. Looking back, I probably shouldn't have, but I was desperate for her to go away. With not only my birthday, but the fact that I had one in the first place signified I was 16 or older. I didn't want to show this lady my other information, so I let her see the birthday, nothing more. Karen wasn't going to swallow her pride and walk away.
That still doesn't excuse you from walking around the airport by yourself. How do I know you aren't running away from home?
I wanted to tell her that even if I was, it was none of her business. I repeated Southwest policy to her and told her that if she still didn't believe me, she could go on their website and check for herself or ask an employee. I then repeated for her to leave me alone or I'd get security. My bluff didn't seem to affect her. She said I wasn't going anywhere and I had to come with her and find my parents. I simply told her no and began reaching for my backpack. The Karen grabbed my wrist and started pulling me. I yanked my wrist away, grabbed my backpack and started running. At that point, people were watching and her kids seemed distressed, but I didn't care. I made a run for my gate. Now, I'm not very athletic, but I'm definitely faster than this overweight single mom. I eventually made it to my gate and took a seat in one of the chairs. Still feeling uneasy, I told the lady at the gate what had happened and that I was shaken up. She understood and said if she saw a woman matching the description near the gate, she'd make sure she didn't come near me, and if she did, security would be alerted. Well, turns out my gut was right, and after about an hour I saw her looking around the different gates. I told the lady and she nodded. She told me to get behind the desk as Karen approached. Here's basically the conversation.
Excuse me, that child behind you is not allowed to be in the airport by herself.
She turned to me and asked if I was an unaccompanied minor. I answered no.
Well, if she's not an unaccompanied minor, then she can be in the airport by herself. She's lying. She can't be 16. She showed me a fake ID. Oh, really?
She turned to me and asked to see the boarding pass. I gladly handed it to her. She reviewed it and said it looked fine and then asked to see what I showed Karen. I handed her my driver's license and she said that also looked fine. Karen demanded the woman at the desk hand me over to her so she could take me to her gate and find my parents. This scared me. I knew I wasn't going anywhere with this woman, but it didn't stop me from being scared.
Ma'am, is this girl your child?
No!
Then I'm afraid I cannot give her to you. I assure you, she's in good hands.
No, she's not, because she's rebellious and lying. I'm clearly more qualified to take care of her, considering I have children and you don't.
That did it. At this point, I could feel a panic attack coming on. The nice woman must have noticed this. She told Karen that either she goes to her gate and leaves me alone or security will be called. Karen huffed and puffed, saying the front desk ladyboy didn't know her own airline policies and she'd be calling 911 for child endangerment and Southwest was going to get shut down for this. The lady at the desk only nodded. After Karen was done with her rant, she walked away before security could come. Before she left, the lady asked her name so she could file a complaint for her. An obvious lie. And she told her, "We'll just keep her name as Karen." The lady at the desk offered to find her gate, inform them of what had happened, and make sure she didn't leave her gate to make me feel safer. I agreed, and we found out her gate was in the international terminal. Knowing this woman wanted to take me to a completely different terminal, the international terminal no less, made me even more scared. But I was assured everything was going to be alright. Her gate was informed about the situation and they said they would make sure she wouldn't leave the terminal once she arrived. That made me feel a lot better. I'm 19 now and still haven't grown taller. I'm in college and I still fly by myself. I'm still a little shaken up from the whole thing, but I still fly on my own. But I make sure to carry around my ID and passport, and if anyone asks if I need help, I quickly answer no and walk away. That may make me look more suspicious, but I don't care. I'd rather come across rude than have to deal with another crazy Karen. Flying is stressful enough. You don't need to deal with people like that. Oh my god. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that r/entitled people story, read by Red. That's me. Please give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe too, because you know you want to hear more stories read by me, don't you? Yes, oh yes. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a good rest of your day.